everyone, and welcome to The Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly. On today's episode, it's TOPAZ Sharpen AI. Now, there is a new update out now, version 3.0, and today I wanted to look at two new modes in there, and that is the very blurry mode and the very noisy mode. Okay, so we're going to take a look at those two modes. Before we start, I just want everyone to know that TOPAZ Sharpen AI is on sale right now. There's 25% off, and this offer runs up till April 9th. I also have a discount code for you, which is David Kelly. And when you're at the checkout, I'm at the checkout screen here, it'll take an additional $9 off of the sale price. It's $59.99. Takes another 15% off, which is $9. You end up paying $50.99. And if you want to get the image quality bundle, which includes Denoise AI, Gigapixel, and JPEG to RAW AI, that bundle's $199. This will add another $140 onto that, and you'll get the bundle. So I'll click this, and you'll see it'll be $199.99, as you can see right here. But then with my promo code, David Kelly, you get another 15% off, so that's $30 off. So you get it for $169.99. You get all those products. So that's a nice savings. But all you need to do, again, click my affiliate link in the description below, enter my promo code David Kelly at checkout. I make a small commission. You make a nice savings. This helps me to keep my YouTube tutorials coming your way. And I want to thank everyone that purchases TOPAZ products from my affiliate link in advance. Thank you. Well, enough of that. Now it's time to get to this tutorial here. So I have this image here. This is a Lens Baby image. I love Lens Baby, that soft focus look I get. But sometimes the images come through a little soft, and it's nice to be able to get that little extra sharpness. And Sharpen AI is great for bringing out extra detail in these Lens Baby images. And then I have this other image that I shot up in Lake Erie, just some birds on the beach. And the image is just slightly soft. It's not too bad, but it's a little bit soft. And but the reason I'm choosing this image is because it is ISO 1600. And if you recall from my other Sharpen AI videos, I would always say you should never go above ISO 1000 when you're using Sharpen AI. But now I think we might be able to go further with that new very noisy mode in Sharpen AI. I'm going to show that to you today, and we'll see if we can take care of this noise in this ISO 1600 image. Let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit deeper to this image here. I'm only zoomed into 100%, so let's zoom into 300%. So you can see there's a lot of noise in there at ISO 1600, and you can see the bird is very soft. So we're going to see what we can do with Sharpen AI on this image. But we're going to start out with this flower image first. By the way, this Lens Baby shot was shot at ISO 500, so Sharpen AI will have no problem getting rid of this noise. So I'm going to go ahead and right-click this. We're going to go to Edit In. Now, I'm working right out of Lightroom today, so we're going to edit in TOPAZ Sharpen AI. I'm editing a copy with Lightroom adjustments, TIFF file format, Pro Photo RGB, the largest color space. That's what I always use. Bit depth, 16 bits, the highest bit depth. And resolution, I usually use 360. I'm just going to leave it on 300. The reason I use 360 is for my Epson printer. Compression, none. I'm going to click Edit, and we will get started seeing if we can pull some extra sharpness out of this image. And here we are in Sharpen AI. Now, I'm in the side-by-side view. It's my favorite view. You can use the comparison view where you see all three modes at once on the screen plus your original image. But I like this view because you have this image quality auto button here. I like to start out in auto, and it lets you, it lets Sharpen AI tell you what kind of a sharpening problem you have. If you don't have a sharpening problem, it's going to pick too soft. If you're slightly out of focus, it's going to pick out of focus. And if you had some camera stabilization issues, it's going to pick motion blur. It feels I had a camera stabilization issue, so it's picked motion blur. It's starting out in the normal mode, and I also start out with settings in auto. So this is the motion blur. This is what Sharpen AI thinks is going to be the best mode for me. Okay, so the image on the left is the original, the image on the right's the corrected image. That doesn't look too bad. Let's see what out of focus looks like. Out of focus looks okay. It looks a little artificial up in here. And again, Sharpen AI says I actually have a motion blur problem, so out of focus is not helping. And let's try too soft. Too soft doesn't do much because remember, I probably have a little bit of a camera shake problem. So let's go back to motion blur. Let me see if I can pull a little bit more sharpness out of this by taking the remove blur and start to bump it up to the right. And let's see what happens. I'm going to let this preview render in real time the first time. so you can actually see how long the preview takes. After that, I'll speed up the preview rendering, okay? But just I want you to get an idea how long it takes on my computer. I have a 2019 iMac with a i9 processor, 8 gigabyte graphic processor unit, and 32 gigs of RAM. And as you can see there, that looks a lot sharper, and I like it. Now, let's see what happens if I click on this new very blurry mode button right here. I did speed up that preview, but man, look at the difference. Let's compare it to the normal. There's the normal, and there's the very blurry. So quite an improvement there. I like my overall results now. It's got rid of my noise. It's sharpened up this lens baby image, and I'm really happy about that. And now all I have to do is click apply, and this will send us right back into Lightroom. And I'm going to let this happen in real time so you can actually see how long this takes. So let me click apply. And it's doing its little thing here. It's processing out. And I've known people to get like this to process out in about 5 to 10 seconds. It takes me anywhere between 10 to 20, depending on, what kind of algorithms Sharpen AI is using, whether I'm using the very blurry or the very noisy. I think it takes a little longer when you use those modes here. But this is happening pretty quick. I'm going to say, I'm not timing this, but I'm going to say it's probably anywhere between 15 and 20 seconds. And now we're back in Lightroom. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these side panels. I'm just clicking these little triangles here, and that'll get rid of the side panels. And I'm going to go into the XY comparison mode. That way we can get up close and personal and do some pixel peeping here. I'm going to select both of these images. So right now the Sharpen AI image is selected. I'm going to go ahead and command click. Or you could control click if you're on a PC, the original image, the CR2 raw file in my case. And then I'm going to click XY comparison, and we'll see those two images side by side on the screen. And now when I zoom in, they'll zoom in together. They'll be locked together. So when I move one around, they both move together. So the image on the left is the TOPAZ Sharpen AI version 3 image. The image on the right is the original raw file. As you can see there, the noise is removed. The image is sharpened. It's done a wonderful job. I'm really happy with it. Let me go ahead and get out of this XY comparison mode, deselect the CR2 file, and let me put this on a full screen so you can really see what it looks like. So it's done a great job with this lens baby image. It's given me that extra sharpness that I really need to bring this image to life. So I think Sharpen AI is definitely moving in the right direction with this version 3.0 update. And now we're going to move on to that second image. And here's our second image. Now, just like the first image, there's no noise reduction, no sharpening on it whatsoever. Let me go ahead and zoom into 300%. So you can see this bird is rather soft, and we have a lot of noise in the background. This one is ISO 1600. Now, I've tried images that were ISO 2000 in the new version 3 of Sharpen AI, and it didn't do such a good job. So now I'm going to try 1600. Because remember, before I would always tell you that ISO 1000 would be about the highest you could get to using TOPAZ Sharpen AI. So now we're going to see if we could bump it up to ISO 1600 and see if Sharpen AI can tackle the noise reduction as well as the sharpening of this image. So I'm going to zoom back out, and I'm going to go ahead and right click, edit in, and we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to launch Sharpen AI, and I'm going to send this in just like the other image, TIFF, ProPhoto RGB, 16-bit, resolution 300. Edit, and we will get started here briefly. Here we are in Sharpen AI. Now, my image quality is set for auto. I'm in the side-by-side viewing mode because remember, in this mode, it'll pick the mode that it thinks I need, okay? And it's picking motion blur because it's thinking I had a motion blur problem, okay, like some camera shake. And let's try the different modes. Now, I have these all set in the auto position. Let's try autofocus. And it's a little sharper, but check it out. It's got some funkiness over here. I don't like that, so that's not good. Let's try too soft. And too soft, it's not doing a whole lot to the image. It's not really getting rid of the noise, and it's sharpening the image slightly. So I think motion blur is the way to go. I think this mode looks the best. I think the bird's feathers look better, and if you look at the legs here, they're nice and sharp. And the noise, I can see a slight amount of noise in here, but we're going to try that very noisy blend mode here in a second. But before I do that, let's take the remove blur and let's bump that up to the right a little bit. Remember, we're in auto, but I'm going to see if I can get a little more sharpness out of this. I went ahead and sped up through the preview time so you didn't have to wait there. But we can see it's a lot sharper. Look at the feathers here. Look at the leg. Looks really good. But I don't know if you can see this on your monitor due to the video, but the noise floor has really come up in this image here. So now we're going to try the very noisy and see what we can get. So let me go ahead and click on very noisy. And I sped up the preview again so you didn't have to wait. And look at the difference there. The noise is totally gone. I don't know if you can see it, but it is gone. This bird looks really sharp and I'm really happy with it. So that very noisy is doing a great job. And remember, this is ISO 1600. So yeah, I think you can get away with ISO 1600 in Sharpen AI for noise reduction as well as sharpening. When you get above ISO 1600, you're going to need some noise reduction software like TOPAZ Denoise AI. But anything under 1600, Sharpen AI will definitely do the job for you. Also, I like to do my noise reduction before I do my sharpening. Images without motion blur problems or out of focus issues only need TOPAZ Denoise AI for sharpening and noise reduction. Images over ISO 1600 with motion blur problems and out of focus conditions need both denoising and sharpening. I hope that makes sense and helps clear things up a bit. And now we're through with our sharpening and denoising job, so we'll click apply, and in real time we're going to go ahead and send this back into Lightroom. Now I think it takes a little bit longer when you're using the very blurry mode, the very noisy mode, the motion mode, and the out of focus mode, because I think those algorithms are more intense, so it takes more processing power, but it's a lot faster. As I said on the previous image, anywhere between 10 to 20 seconds, maybe up to 25 seconds, but it is pretty quick. It's a lot faster than the older version. This is version 3.0, and hopefully they'll get even faster as time goes by. Time will tell. And now we're back in Lightroom. Let me jump over to the library module and select both of these images. And let's go back to that XY comparison view and let me get rid of my side panels. Now let's go ahead and zoom in here, and we're going to zoom into 300%. So the image on the left is my TOPAZ Sharpen AI version 3.0 image, and the image on the right is my original image. My raw file with no noise reduction and no sharpening. But look how much sharper the image on the left is compared to the image on the right. And we have the added benefit of the noise reduction, so there's no noise in that image either. And now we can go up to ISO 1600 and get rid of noise and sharpening issues with TOPAZ Sharpen AI. Well, there you go, everyone. This is TOPAZ Sharpen AI version 3.0. We've taken a look at the new very noisy mode as well as the new very blurry mode. I showed you how they work, and they work really well. I used the very blurry mode on the image on the left, the flower image, and I used the very noisy mode on the image on the right. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today. If you did, please give it a like, share it with your friends. If you're not yet a subscriber to my channel, please subscribe, click that bell notification icon. Then every time I upload a new tutorial, you'll be notified about it. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me today in the Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly. I'll see you all right here next time, but until then, happy editing!